What's going on? Little Dap, it's Jared Muntz here, former pro and founder of OnlineSoccerAcademy.com. Just wanted to do a story for you today, an unscripted story coming from the heart. We did the story of how I went pro a few weeks ago, and people loved it. My email was blowing up with comments, and everyone loved the stories, and they want to hear more stories about when I was a pro and making it as a pro and things like that. So today's story is about how I wasn't the best growing up, but I became the best. And don't get that confused with, I was a youth national team star, I was the Gatorade player of the year. I wasn't that. I'm talking about the best on my youth team, the best in my town. And a lot of players ask me, Jared, were you the best growing up? And the answer is no. I wasn't the best. So I'm going to tell you a little story here about my friend who was the best. And his name is David. He's still a really good friend of mine. I have nothing but respect for him. Really, really good buddy of mine. But this was a guy who was one of the biggest. He developed really early. He was big. He was strong. He was a forward, very talented on the ball. Scored a lot of goals. Always got the recognition. When we were 14, 15, 16, everyone knew him, and I was the smaller player. Didn't develop physically till later on in high school. I was overlooked a lot by coaches because I was small and I didn't do the flashy stuff and I didn't score all the time, but I created passes, I defended hard, I created opportunities. So that was kind of like, we were always really good friends, but he was the guy that got the attention and I was not the best. So what had happened is one day, this was a few years ago, I'd already been a pro and he just played college ball for a little bit, and one of his friends was talking to him one night and he's like, David, you're better than Muntz, right? As a pro soccer player, you're better than Muntz. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then he goes, yeah, but when you were in college and you were a college soccer player, you were better than Muntz, right? And he's like, no, I wasn't. And then his friend kind of had the wind taken out of the sails on him and said, well, what about in high school? Was Muntz better than you then too? And he goes, no, I was better than Muntz. And I think that just goes to show you that the story, and it's nothing against my friend David, it's just, lots of times players aren't the best growing up, and it's not about where you're at growing up, it's how much you improve every day, and small improvements daily equal big improvements over time. And my friend David, he just, he didn't have the drive that I had, and he didn't work as hard, and he didn't improve his game, and eventually you just surpass players like that with hard work and dedication. And when you get to the pro level, everyone's talented. So it's who's working the hardest that's making the difference. Who believes in themselves the more. So these little details on how you keep moving up the ladder. And it takes what a lot of you are doing right now, training in your backyard, doing ladder drills, juggling, kicking the ball up against the fence, checking your shoulders, watching videos on YouTube, using the Online Soccer Academy. Do those little things day in, day out, and it will pay off in the long term. You just have to believe in that in your mind, and it will pay off for you. So, hope you enjoyed that story. I wasn't the best growing up, but I became the best. Good luck.